And Tom, explain this again to me with the boost here. So when I go ahead and I hit this button, what happens? What's going on, everybody? I am here with my good friend Tom, and today we're talking about his 363 Turbo Foxbody, also known as the War Admiral. Tom, I gotta thank you because I know that you've been doing a lot of shows lately.
Yeah.
And we just got done with Ford Takeover, long weekend, very hot, and you're probably ready to go home. Yeah. So I appreciate you taking the time to kind of show me the car here. So before, I already let the cat out of the bag about the 363 Turbo, and I always do that, but before I get too far along here, I always like to kind of get to know the owner a little bit better here. And I know that this car has a backstory that I really just want to kind of touch on real quick. So let's start from the beginning. How long have you owned this car?
So I've owned the car going on 7 years now.
Okay.
It's like six going on 7 years. The car was my father's best friend. I've talked about this in multiple videos. I'm kind of like an open book about it. Okay. I tried to buy the car for like 12 years.
Okay.
So long story short of it, my father got esophagus cancer.
Okay.
And it spread to his stomach. And in a matter of like 8 weeks, he went from talking like you and me,
yeah, to
not here anymore.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So, sorry.
No, man, I'm sorry. You take your time.
No, it's all good. So the long story short is I was raised by a single dad.
Okay.
And me and my sister, like we didn't really have much growing up. So I got really close to him, and it like traumatized me in a way. Like I've told Matt and other people I've done interviews with, but I've never really, like I say it, but people can't really maybe grasp how close I was
how
to
much
him,
an impact,
you know. So when he passed away, I was in like a real bad place.
Yeah.
And so Bob, the original owner of the car, was my, like I said, I'll go back a little bit. He was like my father's best friend. So I was in a mentally bad place, and it's a funny story because one day I'm driving home, and I had a commuter car, like it was a Jeep.
Okay.
And I was trying to buy the car, and he wouldn't sell it to me. So that Jeep caught on fire. The transmission, the disc slipped.
Oh, wow.
And it overheated, like it boiled the trans fluid, and it came out to overflow in the exhaust. I'm driving down the road on the phone, and boom, smoke. So this thing burnt. I mean, the wheels melted, everything. And then 4 hours later, he called me and was like, "Do you want to buy the car?"
Wow. Talk about timing.
Yeah. So I was in a really depressed, like not good mental state.
Yeah.
I just lost my dad. I just lost my commuter car. Yeah. I'm like ready to like lose my mind.
Right. Like what next, right?
And then 4 months later, boom. Or 4 hours later,
you got the car.
I got the car.
Okay.
And then from there, I'm not going to say that I didn't stop thinking about my dad.
Yeah.
Or it didn't come out. You never gonna
of
stop
course,
thinking
never.
about that.
Absolutely.
But it took my mind off like depression in this car.
Sure.
Like, so it was like I turned it into like my project. It went from like, all right, let's do this, you know.
Sure.
And then I enlisted Blue Sky, and we collaborated, and that's the guys who do all my custom work.
Okay.
And all that, the paint of the car. You know, they did the car for me, really.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the gist of it, and it escalated.
We all know how that goes down.
Yeah. So it escalated because as I went forward with it, like I didn't want to let my father's best friend down. Like I didn't want to just have a roller in the garage, end up selling it, or just do something minor with. Like I wanted him to be proud of it, because the man pretty much cried when he sold me the car.
Yeah. But
he saved my life.
Yeah, absolutely.
At the same time. So shout out to him, Bob. I love you to death, dude. You're the man. And then, you know, the rest is history, really. It just escalated from there.
All right.
And then, you know, Blue Sky, shout out to them too. Like, we've had our ups and downs, like back and forth, because they're super passionate about what they do, and I'm super passionate about what they do. So we kind of sometimes like
butt heads a little bit.
But the end result is what I consider my rendition of a perfect street car.
Okay. Like, okay.
So
awesome.
Yeah, that's that. Anything you want to know about it, just
let's dig in. So, you know, like I said, I let the cat out of the bag about the 363 Turbo, but let's kind of talk a little bit more about this. This is, I'm assuming, a Dart block?
It's a Dart block. Yeah, Dart SHP block 363.
Okay.
AFR 195 Renegades. It's got a Victor Jr. EFI on it. Works injectors, 76, 75 On3 Turbo, which I like to talk about that a little bit because because here's the thing, like I get a lot of actually hate
for the On3.
For the On3. So I always want to explain to people why I went with the On3. So I've always had superchargers, and I've said this on the podcast, I've said this in other interviews, but I've never elaborated.
Okay.
I decided to go with the On3 because I didn't know if I was going to like turbo.
Okay.
Right. I like the idea of having multiple tunes on the fly. I could put my daughter in the car, make it sound bone stock, or down tune it. Okay. Turn on the air conditioning, and I could cruise this thing like it's a stock 5-liter. Or when I'm alone, I could hit the big button and make crazy horsepower and live a little.
Right.
So I went with the On3 because why spend 3 times more money on something? Number one,
you're not sure.
I didn't know. Number two, I wasn't sure if I was going to like it because I've always had superchargers. So this turbo is like a learning curve for me. So now that I understand it, I get it, I know that I want it, I'm actually waiting for the new Precisions to come out. Okay. So that, I just want to explain that to people because I always get on these YouTube videos, oh, gorgeous car, but an On3, I'm done.
On3, I'm done.
So you guys.
All right, guys, but before you start sending hate mail or something, okay, he just told the story as to why. Now, I mean, you're still making some ridiculous horsepower with with an On3 turbo, right?
Right. So this is the On3, the 75, 76, the BMF. Okay. I mean, it's upgraded. It's not your standard On3 kit, so it's upgraded. But the car makes, this is always a tough question because it's got multiple tunes. Okay. Right today, the car is making on low boost 10 pounds like 650 horse. Okay. On high boost 14 pounds on 93 pump gas. Okay. It makes 805 at the rear wheel. Wow. Now when I put C16 in it, it's a game changer. Low boost is around, well, low boost is about 12 pounds. We make about 750. These are rough numbers, guys. Like, sure. Because it changes all the time. Yeah. Every dyno reads different. So, and then high boost is about 18 to 21 pounds. You'll see 18. We'll set it for 18, but it'll make 21 on the street or however you're driving. Yeah. The best number I've ever seen is 948 at the wheels. Wow. But the tires broke loose on the dyno. Yeah. So really, I need a bigger tire or I need to put on a hub dyno to know the exact number.
Right, so you're pushing triple digits now. Right. And probably with the Precision, you're definitely going to need some bigger meats.
Now, I didn't know this, and I'm just learning this with the help, shout out to like Dan, Neo Mustangs. Yep. I need a bigger exhaust housing. Oh, okay. Right? So full transparency, when I turn it up that high, the car gets a lot of back pressure. Okay. And it wants to blow out manifold gaskets and so forth. So it needs a bigger exhaust housing to eliminate that. Okay. You know, and that was where my exhaust comes in. That's got multiple different settings.
Yeah, you know, we're gonna have to, because I don't know if I can get underneath the car here, but we're gonna have to show a picture of the exhaust, because I know that you have an extremely unique exhaust setup, and it's not just like a simple cutout, right? You've got
there's 3 cutouts. Okay. So initially there was 2. So we like to call this an active exhaust. It's kind of like a modern day with a touch. So when you flash the picture up, what it is so it comes down off the Y pipe and it splits into 2. Okay. Right, and then we have a pipe that wraps around 3-inch cook mufflers and it back out the tailpipes. I generally don't like the sound of open cutouts. Yep. Guys will bash me for this, but to me they sound like a dump truck going, like old Mack truck. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So I generally don't like that. So I want everything to go out the tailpipes. Okay. So when I open them, now this isn't science, so it's not exact numbers, but generally speaking, you'll get about 70% through in a straight pipe and 30% will still go through the mufflers. You don't have that sound. That's with the 2 rear ones open. Okay. So that's one sound. Then I could close the 2 rear ones and just run 100% out the cook's mufflers.
Through the mufflers.
And the car, because it's a turbo car, it gets really
super quiet. Yeah.
So it almost sounds stock-ish. Sure. Right? Or I can open the front cutout, which is just a straight up dump, to relieve back pressure. And that's actually very new. I just did that after learning about back pressure. Okay. So learning curves, right? Yeah. You know, people like, it's learning curves, you know, guys. I mean, so you don't have to buy the top of the line stuff. Like, learn on something a little cheaper like I did. Yeah. And, you know, move forward with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then before we kind of walk away from here, I know you were kind of pointing out that this is actually some custom fab work. This is not some Scott Rod panel or anything like that. Like, all of this is like custom fab inside. And I know you had said before too that you're not really interested in shaving the engine bay. It's just not your thing. So I don't know. I think this actually looks really good, but I already know that you've got some other plans. We don't have to get to. We'll wait till you do that, and then we'll have to do another video. So we don't have to get into that. But
yeah. So for me, I love the way a shaved engine bay looks.
Yeah.
But the idea of this car was, I've said this phrase over and over: keep it Foxbody, keep it Foxbody. I'm a purist Foxbody guy at heart. So I wanted to keep everything under the bay. Yeah. Like I wanted, when I opened it, I wanted people to see the wipers, see some originality.
The battery up front.
Right. Like, so yeah, I'm not really too interested in shaving the bay on this car. Yes, there's some stuff I could do to clean it up, and that might be coming in the future. Yeah. But as far as a complete shave, it's never going to happen on this car. Okay. A lot of people weld in the Scott rod panels and all that stuff. With the theme of the car, I wanted the rivets. It gives it like an industrial feel. Yeah. And this, like you said, I'm not knocking Scott rod. They're a great product. Guys use them because it's a really good product. Yeah. But for me, I didn't want hood pins, and I only have an 1.5 cal. And the way my car's set up, they were hitting the hood. So I had Jesse from Blue Sky fab all this up for me. So this is all hand done. Wow. To fit my car specifically.
This is not something that you just buy off the shelf. This is all custom here?
So that's the Maker's Garage splitter. Okay. Now everyone just buys them and bolts them on. Yeah. We brought the color down into it to kind of blend in with the car. Wow. Because it's the only carbon fiber piece on the car. So we just wanted a very, very subtle touch. Yep. And plus it makes it a little bit different. And then you've also got, I know you were kind of pointing out the custom pinch weld covers as well, right? Yeah, same thing. So I don't like the look of a side skirt or anything like that on a coupe. Yep. So I wanted to hide the pinch welds, but I wanted something that disappeared in front of your eye. Like if you don't look for it, I wanted it to go unnoticed. So I talked to Jesse and we came up with this idea, and he handmade all these. They're aluminum, and they bolt in from the back side of the pinch weld. Okay. And then there's just a rubber strip there, but underneath there's there's holes drilled for water so they can all drain, all that stuff. Wow. So yeah, he handcrafted those all for me, and the amount of shop time to do it wasn't cheap. I bet just for the custom pinch weld. And you know, and I told you this too, that you know, I noticed here that you don't have the side moldings, right? But it looks like it was meant to be. You know, it really looks really nice. Yeah, so I can go either way on side molding. Some guys will be like, you ruined the car. Some guys will be like, it looks better, it looks cleaner. Yeah. For me, the thing I don't like about side moldings is the tape. Okay. You know, the front here, these are all flush bolted to the car. So we're into like the real fine details. That little tape when you walk up to a car, paint in there, the black, and they lift a little bit. Yep. You could have a super nice car. That kind of takes away from it for me. So if I was gonna go back to them, I would probably like urethane them or glue, you know, some kind of body adhesive. Sure. Take the tape off so they're sit flush, just like the front ones do. Yeah, yeah. But as of now, I'm happy with it. Yeah. It looks clean. I probably won't do it. Okay, okay. All right, well, let's, I'm staring at your wheels right here, so let's kind of talk about this. Actually, let's talk about the brakes. What do you got going on for brake setup here? So again, the car snowballed. We bought the brakes and did the suspension, and I just bought the SVE Cobra upgrade kit. Okay. And then the car just escalated, and I was like, you know what, they're gonna stay for now. But again, we talked you and me earlier, and there's some things going on with those for next season. Okay. But probably not till next season, because I want to enjoy the car this year. I understand 100%. My car's sitting at home in the garage with a base tune, and I haven't been able to enjoy it yet. It's like I'm constantly changing stuff. Yeah. I just want to enjoy it this year, and when the fall comes, then it's time. You guys will see some stuff. All right, all right. But these are BC forged LE52s. Okay. They're a 2-piece wheel, 18 by 8 on the front, 18 by 9 on the back, because I wanted to tuck without mini tubs. Okay. So they're black barrels, and the centers are actually gray, but it's a transparent gray, so you can still see the machine work. Yep. They're not like a straight up gunmetal gray. And what size do you got in the rear here, the tires? 285s. 285s. So 285s, and it's an 18 by 9. It actually fits really nice, and no issues with any rubbing. The car does not. You just followed me with 3 people in the car. Yep. And not one rub. Excellent. Wow. All right, so let's
let's talk suspension then, because you know your car, obviously I can see right here, your car sits really nice. What's going on suspension
all
wise?
QA1.
Okay.
The whole car. I've always well, I shouldn't say always, but I'm a fan of QA1.
Okay.
I like them. They've been around a long time. What I really intrigued me about QA1 was their front K member. A lot of these other companies all make awesome products, but the front K member, instead of, if you say I want to switch to a Coyote, which guys I'm never gonna do, but if I did want to switch to a Coyote, I wouldn't have to change the whole front K member. I could just get different brackets.
Oh wow.
So you buy their K member
once,
okay, and then you could just change brackets depending on what motor swap you want.
Wow.
And I figured, since why I'm doing it, I might as well just buy their whole suspension kit.
Yep.
I know they make good products, and I'm super happy with them.
Excellent.
I mean, the car rides great. It doesn't bottom out. It feels really good.
Excellent. All right. What do you say we take a look inside the car here?
Sure.
Wow. Okay, so again, all custom, obviously, and I think I mentioned this to you before. Like, I really appreciate the fact that, you know, you could have just gone with black, right? It's done some black interior, but this is what color is this? Like a cinnamon or what?
Cinnamon.
Okay, this is a cinnamon color.
It's a cinnamon. It's cinnamon relicate. Cameras never pick it up.
No.
Like properly.
But they, you know, now that I see it actually in person, it really is a beautiful color, and it complements the car so well. What seats are these though? So
these are Pro Car by Scat seats, and then they're 80 headrests out of an 85.
The Halos, okay.
Yeah, so actually it's funny because we ordered the seats, sent them to shout out to Gill Interiors in Middletown, New York.
Okay.
They stripped them down, and then I stole these headrests out of my buddy Mike's car, and literally.
Okay. These are mine.
I was like, I'll get you another set, but I needed them now, so I sent them up to him, and they welded in the brackets, and then wrapped them in cinnamon relicate leather.
Okay.
And matched the factory LH stitching.
Okay. Wow.
Then,
yeah, it looks great.
Like the door panels, same thing, and then an Alcantara insert, Alcantara headliner, Alcantara visors, all to match the Momo steering wheel.
Wow, you really went all out there. Look at that.
Yeah, and then I put I shaved the rear shoulder belts because those two humps on the back of these cars.
Okay. Okay.
They always looked kind of odd to me. So we went with the older style rear lap belt.
I like too that you still got the original dash, but I'm seeing here that looks like a Holley EFI dash.
Yeah, it's a Holley Pro Dash 12.3.
Okay. It fits really well. I mean, it looks like it's meant to be.
Yeah, it fits perfect. You can actually, when I did it, it was hard to find bezels to mount it in there because I was one of the first cars out with it.
Okay.
But now you can pretty much go on Facebook and people 3D print them.
Oh,
and
nice.
all that stuff. The only thing it blocks nothing on the screen except where it says Holley. Just other than that, nothing is blocked.
Yeah. Okay, so transmission. So obviously
transmission is American Powertrain TKX.
Okay. So it's 5-speed.
It's a 5-speed.
Okay.
I'm actually in the process of working with Hanlon Motorsports. Shout out to them to get some other parts for it, to do some different things. I'm a tall guy.
Yep.
So they're coming out with a shifter for it.
Okay.
And to bring it back a little bit for me, because it's hard to get that. You taller guys know that 2 to 3 you got to really reach, you know. So it's almost like I'm sitting up.
Like sit forward, yeah.
Yeah. So when their new shifter comes out, which should be coming out pretty soon, it's going to be a good deal.
Okay.
But I didn't move the radio. Like I know everyone's moving the radio these days.
Yeah.
Again, like I said, I'm a purist, so I didn't want to do that because I thought it took away from the originality of the car, and I don't need to move it because everything's Bluetooth.
Right, exactly. So you don't have to plug anything in anyway.
Right, I didn't want to cut up anything behind the dash.
Yep.
In case, if I ever sold this car and somebody wanted a black dash or a black interior, it's to literally replace the seats, the door panels, you're done.
Yep,
you know?
yep.
And nothing's hacked up, it's all there.
I love it. It looks, it's so clean and looks like it's all just kind of meant to be, you know?
Yep.
Guys, look at this. That is not a 5.0, that's a 6.0 badge, and they don't really make these, do they?
No, so I get this question probably more than anything. 2 questions I get. 1, is it an LS? 2, where'd you get the 6.0 badges?
Okay.
So Evolve Industries made these for me. We sent out actual 5-liter emblems off the car, and then I bought a police interceptor badge and I mailed them those, and they replicated the 5.0 badges and the 6-liter badges for me, because again, I wanted it to see, I didn't want to buy like an LS 6.0 badge or anything like that. I wanted people to you know, double take when they
Sure.
saw it. So it blends in perfect.
Yeah.
You know, they made those for me, and then they made my War Admiral badge.
Okay.
That's replicated. I have a police interceptor badge.
Oh wow, look at that. Again, you know, it's so subtle that it looks like it just belongs there.
Right.
You know.
Some of the other small things, you know, I've said them on other YouTube channels. You know, I shaved the trunk lock.
Yep. And it's so clean. Look at that.
Shave the passenger door lock. Shave the antenna, because we don't need a passenger door lock.
No.
And that's kind of bringing the car into the modern day.
Sure.
The modern day era. You know.
Oh, and you also shaved this as well. Okay.
Yep.
And I think I actually walked right past something else here.
Yeah, this is a big one. I actually want to touch on the seats again too.
Okay.
So there's two things on the car that I was super hesitant about. One is this rear diffuser. I was like, I was so used to like European style rear diffusers.
Yeah.
They're always big and they come flat out to the bumper, and that's just not me.
Yeah.
So Jesse's like, let's do a rear diffuser, and I was like, I kind of want one, but I don't want one. And I gave him a real hard time about doing it. And then finally I broke down, I'm like, all right, listen, let's do it. Keep it subtle. And he messed with me about it. Like, he would send me like a picture where he could just see the tips.
Yeah.
You know, and it was like, I was so nervous because I didn't want a European style. When I saw it, it was just like, it's unbelievable. But the fins come off.
Oh, really?
Yes, they're removable. It's all steel.
Wow. So even if you just kind of got tired of looking at it, you can just pull those fins off.
I can pull those fins
even know they were there.
Just a tank cover.
Wow.
Or I can make bigger fins if I wanted to, or smaller fins if I wanted to.
So modular, very cool.
Yeah.
Very unique.
Back to the seats again. That was, you said I could have just done black.
Yeah.
The biggest thing for me was doing that color. It was the hardest choice of the whole car.
Okay.
Because I am like black, white, gray person, right?
Okay.
So when they brought up the color to me, I was kind of like, oh, it's a suggestion.
Yep.
And I was like, no way am I doing that color. Like, it's so outside of the box for me. Like, I'm not doing it. And then they brought me a color swatch and they put it together, and I was like, all right, it looks a little bit better together. So what I did was, behind the scenes, they don't, you know, the guys who did the interior stuff don't know this, I actually drove to a Porsche dealer because they have similar setups, and then went and looked at a Ford King Ranch.
Okay.
And when I saw on the Porsche and this together, I was like, all right, they win. But I didn't want to tell them that, but now I will.
So, so they kind of took you out of your comfort zone there.
Oh, with the seats, 100%. I cannot take full credit for that.
Okay.
At the end of the day, it was me saying, yes, let's do it.
Sure.
Once I saw it. But I was definitely persuaded to do that color combo, for sure.
Okay.
And the end result, it's just awesome, man.
Yep.
It's awesome.
Yep.
So I wouldn't change it. I can't imagine the car without it now.
You're right. And like I said, it's so unique, but it looks like it's kind of meant to be, especially with this color.
Yeah.
It's such a great compliment, you know, to this color car.
It's great. And the tail lights while we're standing here, shout out to Classic LEDs.
Yeah.
They did this for me, and actually, I just sent him one because I busted it, and he's had it back to me within like 7 days.
Wow. And these are actually real Ford.
Ford.
Oh, wow. Very cool. So they just modify the original
lenses. Yeah.
Wow, that is so cool. I've been looking at the rear end of your car this whole trip pretty much because, you know, you're in front of us, but they're so bright, and just, I mean, I don't know, very unique, I guess. But again, every time I see something like this, in my opinion, this is how it should have been. Obviously, they didn't have LED back then, but it looks still looks like a stock rear end and rear tails. But once you hit the brake light or hit the turn signal or something like that, they're so bright. Very cool. Yeah, even in this light, they are so bright. Very cool. Now, what rear end is in this car? What gear?
It's an 8.8 355.
Okay, 355
turbo car. So
yep. It's still a good cruising gear too, as well.
It's got Yukon axles in it.
Okay.
31 spline.
Okay.
Which it's a little much power. It should be maybe a little bit upgraded.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. So yeah, but it's original 8.8 with 355s in it.
Okay, cool. All right, guys, Tom actually let me take a seat inside the car and turn the ignition on so I can take a look at the Holley dash. And check this out, guys. Like, you can literally just touch this. And Tom, explain this again to me with the boost here. So when I go ahead and I hit this button, what happens?
It adds horsepower.
Okay.
Whatever you have. This is why I want a turbo.
Okay.
Because I could touch this, make it mild.
Okay.
So like today, the way the tune is today, that's like I said, 650 give or take.
Yep.
Hit this, now it's 805.
Wow, just
like that.
That is way too cool.
It's like a scramble button on your dash.
Yep.
This is your two-step rather than a traditional button.
Yep.
You just tap that. That's your two-step.
Wow.
You could change screens.
Just swipe it. Okay.
Swipe it.
Look at that.
I think it's got like 14 different ones in.
Wow.
Depending on
what you need to see, and you know, right. Yeah. Wow, that is amazing.
This is what I always say. Old technology and new to technology is the perfect blend to me, because it allows me to have a high horsepower car.
Yep.
With AC, power steering, GPS, Bluetooth
radio. Yep.
Right. I could take my daughter out in it. I could have AC on in it.
Yep.
I could just cruise to a whatever. Or if I roll up against something and I want to just hit the big button and have a blast, we can have some fun. You know, so not all technology is bad. It allows us to do things we never used to do before.
Right.
We are closer now to having the race car, street car blend than we've ever been.
Yep.
You know, so that's what I enjoy about it. But I also enjoy the old school stuff.
Sure.
So mix push rod motor.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Keep the two together, and you can do whatever.
The best of both worlds. Absolutely.
Right. Oh, and no, the car's coil unplugged now.
Okay.
Too. So the distributor's gone. Similar to Mario's car.
Yep. Yep. So the newer technology there.
8 individual coil packs.
Yep.
Night and day difference in drivability.
Really?
Night and day.
Okay. All right, guys. This is always my favorite part of the video. What do you say we go for a ride? Tom says that was low boost, and wow, that just throws right back in your seat. But it's so it feels so linear, like it's so smooth. This car is amazing.
Or we could just shift it and drive.
Yeah, just drive it like a normal Mustang.
Right.
And it sounds. So is this with going through the mufflers? Your exhaust is going through the mufflers?
This is with the rears open.
Oh, it is. Okay. I mean, it's nice that you can actually have a conversation inside the car. It's comfortable too. Like I know you were talking about the suspension. You don't really feel any of these bumps. It's actually pretty. You know,
nice. How low the car is.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I mean, it definitely is more than say like a coil spring.
Yep.
But if your tires are fitted properly, and you have the right wheel size.
Yep.
You know, you can drive the car very, reliably without rubbing and all that stuff. So it's just a matter of getting the right fitments.
Yep. That turbo just sounds amazing. And it just keeps pulling.
So that's a low boost, like probably 3/4 throttle, 2 to 3.
Wow.
Because there's just not enough room.
Yep.
So that's what I'm saying. When I really get on the car, it's something else.
Yeah. You kind of need a runway to really open this thing up.
Yeah. It's dirty.
All right, guys, I honestly cannot believe this. Tom just asked me if I want to drive the car. So we're going to take a nice slow stroll right down the street.
So I'm handing over the keys to my boy. We're going to take a nice, easy ride.
And I'm going to do my best not to stall this thing here and embarrass myself. That is a pretty heavy clutch right there.
Yeah, so it's got to be.
Okay.
To hold the power.
That very responsive gas pedal right there. And the clutch is very heavy. me here now because I'm gonna want to do a lot of this stuff to my car. Wow.
What's the point of doing one of these videos if you don't get to drive it?
Yeah. It drives so smooth, and again, it kind of feels like you're saying when you drive it, you know, normal. It feels like a stock Foxbody.
Right.
There's no surging. There's no kind of chugging along or nothing like that. It's so clean, and it sounds so good.
The steering's super responsive.
It is very responsive.
Tight. It's all power steering, but it's very tight for the power steering.
I really love this dash too because, I mean, it's right in front of your face. You can see everything.
So the only way for me to really show people this car is to let them drive it. So it could be, like I said to you, it could be very mild or it could be very wild.
Yep.
And this is all technology. This is what technology allows us to do.
Yeah.
You know, we can have the best of both worlds nowadays.
Right.
Only have Ford takeover, people.
It drives so smooth. I mean, even that right there, you know, even my car, you know, when I'm making a turn and I'll drop in second gear, sometimes you get that little chug, you know, and this was just such a smooth
Now, mind you, this is the first time you ever driving this car.
Yep.
With a twin disc.
Right.
So the clutch is a little bit heavy.
Yep.
And so, you know, imagine driving it for a week. You'd be cruising around like it's a Honda Civic.
Right. Yeah, you're right. You know, it just takes a little while to get used to, you know, where
different car.
Where the clutch is going to grab.
Right. So what do you think of that TKX?
I like it, actually. So this is actually on my wish list. I got to get my car running first. You know, but once my car's, you know, I made that bad decision before where, you know, my car's in process and I keep throwing stuff at it and then it just never gets done.
Right.
So I want to get it running right and enjoy it for the summer, and then I think the TKX is probably going to be the next edition.
It's like the apology for the TKO. I'm super excited that you can turn me down and actually drove the car, because every time I offer, people are too nervous. It's just a car, man.
Yeah, you're right.
At the end of the day, it's just a car. Anything can be fixed, and that's what it's all about. And we're about to roll up on another famous car.
Check it out.
Yep.
All right, Tom, we'll see you later. Thanks for the car. I love it. Absolutely love it. All right, guys, we are back from the ride, and Tom, I got to thank you for not only giving me a very memorable ride, but also for letting me drive your beautiful car here, man. That was unbelievable. I really can't thank you enough. I know, again, I had a 10-hour ride here with Mario. That's nothing compared to you. You had a 17-hour ride,
yep.
And we're all heading back tonight. It's been a long weekend. You've been hitting all the shows lately too, showing off this car. So again, I appreciate your time so much.
Anytime, man. I appreciate you taking the time out. I appreciate everybody for watching, like always.
Yep.
I'm glad you actually drove it. I'm glad you got in and drove it.
It was fun.
Because it's the only way to really explain it.
Yeah, I was a little nervous, but you know what? Thank you for actually kind of pushing me.
Anytime.
All right, guys. We're gonna wrap things up here. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. If you have any questions about the car, post them down below. Tom and I will do our best to answer them for you. If you like the video, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.